As the stock market was sinking once again today, John McCain told me all he can do is laugh at suggestions that his economic message has not been consistent. I sat down with Senator McCain in the battleground state of New Hampshire just a little while ago, and I pressed him about whether he'd sign on to a second multi-billion-dollar plan to try to inject cash into the economy. Listen to this. Do you agree with Ben Bernanke, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, who said this week, he said that it's now a good time for a second economic stimulus package, seeming to join hands with Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid. Is it a good time to do that, to come up with another $150 billion stimulus package?
I would be glad to look at anything that could be helpful to our economy. I respect Ben Bernanke. I'm sick and tired, and the American people are sick and tired of the pork barrel spending.
In a statement released only yesterday, by the way, Senator McCain suggested that any new stimulus plan coming from the Democratic-controlled Congress would be packed with wasteful spending and would not pass his test. We're going to bring you all of the interview I conducted with Senator McCain over the course of the next 3 hours. Part 1 this hour, Part 2 in the 5 p.m. Eastern hour, and Part 3 in the 6 p.m. hour. He has some strong words about Colin Powell's criticism of him and whether the Wall Street bailout was socialism. We're also going to be getting immediate reaction from the Obama campaign. David Axelrod, the chief strategist, standing by to join us live. He's going to be listening to this interview, and we'll get his reaction as well. Well, let's talk about taxes right now. Sure. It's a key issue. Among other things, you'd like to cut, and correct me if I'm wrong, the corporate tax rate from 35% to 25%. Is that right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because what he says, and what Democrats, a lot of Democrats say, that would be a corporate bonanza for ExxonMobil. They would get an extra $4 billion. Here's the question. Should ExxonMobil be excluded from that cut in the corporate tax rate?
Oh, of course not. We should be cutting corporate tax for every business in America. You know, Barney Frank just said, we're going to take some of that money away from the rich people. That's what Obama's all about. That's what this is about. Let me tell you, we tried a windfall profit tax back during the days of Jimmy Carter, okay? We tried it. Didn't work. But the important thing is, if you talk to the CEO of FedEx, Fred Smith, if you talk to the CEO of Cisco, John Chambers, you talk to Meg Whitman, former CEO of eBay, you know what they'll tell you? They'll tell you they pay their full 35%. And you know what else they'll tell you? When they have the ability to go overseas, unfortunately, they do go overseas. And you know why? Because they're paying 35% full freight, no evasions or escapes from the taxes. They're paying full freight, and they'll show you their tax returns. And guess what? If they go to Ireland, they're only paying 11%. So where are they going to go where they can create wealth and create jobs? It's simple, fundamental economics. So to somehow allege that a company or corporation that can be international is not going to go where they pay the lowest taxes and can create the most jobs is just foolishness. The last time we practiced this kind of isolationism and protectionism that Senator Obama espouses in higher taxes was a guy named Herbert Hoover.
We have another question from a viewer, Frederic Lumiere of Doylestown, Pennsylvania. He says he's an independent. Normally he says he votes Republican, but he said you lost his vote this time because what he called negative campaighning. Here's his question. He said,
you got anybody who says they've changed their mind and is supporting me? You got a question
yes, there
from them, Wolf? I'd love to hear that.
Here's his question.
My question to you is about tax cuts. How can you explain to the American people that tax cuts are going to solve our economic issues, might it be for the rich or the poor, whomever it is for, when they really haven't worked for the last 8 years?
All I can say to him is that look at history. Look at history. You raise taxes during economic crisis times, as we did back in the time of Herbert Hoover. You send the country into a depression. I'm not going to do that. We have a fundamental difference of opinion. Some people think you got to spread the wealth around, you got to raise taxes. As I said, Barney Frank and others said, we're going to get those rich people and we're going to take the money from them. Fine, if that's what they want to do. And I can hardly, it's incredible to think of Speaker Pelosi, Harry Reid, and Barack Obama with the tax and spend policies that they did in the past and that they espouse now and might happen in the future. It invigorates me to keep my campaign going and going hard. I don't want that to happen to America.
Social Security. It's a potential problem out there for our children and grandchildren.
Sure.
And you've said nothing is off the table as far as coming up with some solutions, long-term solutions to social.
You know that funny? That's the way you negotiate, and that's the way you negotiate and get solutions.
Right now, there's a cap at $102,000 for Social Security payroll withholding tax. Are you open, as part of an effort to save Social Security, to letting that cap go up?
I'm obviously against it, and I want to tell you again. The way you succeed in negotiations, and I've done it many times across the aisle, whether it be Ted Kennedy or Russ Feingold or Joe Lieberman or anybody else, is you sit down and you negotiate. You go in with your negotiating positions. I'll go in with my negotiating positions. My position is that I won't raise taxes on anybody.
What about increasing the retirement age from 65?
I will have things on the table. We will negotiate. Ronald Reagan, Tip O'Neill, 1983. Went in, negotiated, and came out and saved Social Security. Guess what? That's what the American people want from us. That's what I've done all the time I've been in the Congress of the United States. And so for me to say anything, but I'm going to do what I saw two great leaders, Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan, do, it's just foolishness.
So raising the retirement age?
The Democrats insist. The reason why we couldn't get an agreement in 2005 is because the Democrats insisted as a precondition that we raise taxes. So guess what? We never sat down at the table together. The Americans want us to sit down together, Wolf. And so all I can tell you is I'll sit down with them. I've worked with them before. I'll sit across the table from them. I'm against tax increases. I'm against a lot of the bad things that a lot of the people support, but I'll get a result, and we'll save Social Security.
And how do you feel about raising the retirement age?
I feel very strongly that I'll sit down with the Democrats and we'll negotiate out as something that will save Social Security, because that's our obligation to future generations of Americans. And you can ask me, for the next half hour if you'd like. I mean, it'd be kind of fun. And my answer is going to be the same. I will sit down and negotiate the way I have done in the past, which Senator Obama has never done, whether it be in judicial nominations or whether it be in immigration reform or ethics or lobbying reform. He always went home to the Democrat leadership.
Let's talk a little bit about your support, and correct me if I'm wrong. You did support President Bush's plan to overhaul Social Security and allow Social Security recipients to use about 10% of their Social Security savings in the stock market. That collapsed, obviously, didn't go forward. Knowing what we know now about the volatility of the stock market, is that still a good idea?
The reason why the talks collapsed is because the Democrats insisted on agreeing to tax increases before we sat down. So let's understand history. Okay, that's what they wanted to do. And all this other stuff was worth negotiating. And I will protect, as President of the United States, the Social Security benefits of retirees and future retirees. I will protect those benefits, and I'll do whatever's necessary to protect those benefits. And I've said that time over time. Every even-numbered year, Democrats run out, scare the senior citizens, say they're going to raise your taxes, they're going to destroy Social Security. Same old stuff. I've seen it for so more years than I can count. I'm not scaring any senior. I'm going to protect their Social Security benefits, despite what ads may be run. And the senior citizens, as well as all citizens in this country.
And the notion of a 10%, using 10%.
They know me about how I'm going to fix Social Security, and I'm going to make their Social Security the best I can, and we'll preserve the benefits that they have, and I'll protect Social Security.
And the 10%?
And I'll protect Social Security, and I'll sit down at the table with the Democrats. And by the way, we can keep, I'll give you, I'm going to protect Social Security, and that's what I've done my entire career, and I will do what Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill did, and that is save Social Security and make Americans aware that, unfortunately, present-day retirees working Americans today are not going to receive the same benefits as present-day retirees unless we fix it. And I think I can convince the American people that we'll sit down together.
Let's move on and talk about national security.
Good.
If you're elected president of the United States, do you believe America's enemies, whether terrorists or hostile governments, would test you during the first 6 months of your presidency?
I've already been tested, and I'm astonished and amazed to hear Senator Biden predict that the untried, untested President Obama will be tested by our enemies, and we may not agree, or his own backers may not agree. Look, I've been tested. Senator Biden referred to the Cuban Missile Crisis. I was there. We came that close, as historians say, to a nuclear exchange. And Senator Biden expects, his own running mate expects Senator Obama to be tested in that way? And that's a remarkable statement.
Because
that should
usually in
concern
a new
all
administration,
Americans.
there are tests early on by hostile powers out there.
They know I've been tested. They know I've been tested. I've been tested many times.
The U.S., the Bush administration...
And the thing that probably may encourage him a little is that Senator Obama has been wrong. He was wrong about the surge in Iraq. He still fails to acknowledge that he was wrong. I mean, remarkable. He was wrong when he said the Georgians should show restraint. He was wrong when he said he would sit down across the table from Ahmadinejad, Chavez, and the Castro brothers. He was wrong about those. So I can understand why the American people might be concerned, particularly when his own running mate says he's going to be tested.
All right.
I've been tested, my friend.
We got a limited amount of time, so I just want to get a couple of things in before I let you go. Iraq, very important issue. Right now, we still have 140, 150,000 troops.